How's it going, guys? How are y'all doing today? I decided to make this video to debunk a few myths that people seem to think are true about white-tailed deer. So I wrote it down, that way I won't forget anything. So number one, deer see bright orange vests or bright green vests or bright whatever color vests. That is false. Deer do not see bright orange very well, but humans can, hence why it's called hunter's orange. Deer don't see those colors very well because they don't see that color spectrum. He agrees. So wear your orange vest. Can you see that guy? Hold on. Say hi to the camera. Where'd he get? Oh, he's higher. There he is. Carolina Red. Passeriformes. That's what I needed to know. Ah! Okay, so back to it. But yeah, guys, deer cannot see those bright colors. The color they can see is blue. Do not wear blue jeans to the woods. They can see you very easily. And ironically, a lot of your companies that make camouflage clothes to sell them to hunters, they use the same dye in those clothes. So if you buy those, so when you buy new camo, toss it in the washer, give it a good once or twice, and some of that dye will go out. He's just calling up a storm. But put him in the washer, some of that dye will go out and it'll be harder for him to see you. So, number two, deer hear better than humans. I put better in quotation marks there because yes and no. Deer do hear higher frequencies than humans. However, humans hear lower frequencies. Deer are hearing at about 4 to 8 kilohertz frequencies the best, and humans are hearing from 2 to 5 kilohertz frequencies the best. And everybody's wondering about those deer whistles you see at like Walmart and stuff. Leave those on the shelf, let them collect dust, and let Walmart wonder why the heck they have them and they don't work. Mainly because there was a study done by a professor I had this semester who determined that a lot of your deer whistles don't even work to begin with, and they usually range from about 1 to 8 kilohertz, which is fine if it's above 5, but anything below that we can hear. And technically, we can actually hear up to 20 kilohertz maximum. So really, it's just, well, it's not affecting us. Companies are trying to make them higher frequency so deer can hear them. Unfortunately, they get to such a high frequency that deer can't even hear them. And also, a problem with that might not just be the frequency, it's the fact that most of them, in order for them to work, or the distance to where they can hear it, is about maximum 60 feet in front of you. Well, you've ridden in a car, right? Imagine that. You're going down the road at 55 miles per hour and you have to be 60 feet away from something for it to affect it. Not gonna work too well, because 60 feet is really close, and when you're traveling at 50 some odd miles an hour, you cover that distance really quick. So don't buy deer whistles. That, and they're on the hood of the car, so you're running through bugs, they all get caked in there, blocking more of the sound. So deer whistles are no good. So number 3, nanny does, or those big gray does, cowhead does, or whatever, they are too old to produce young. They're not. And like you guys, like many of you guys, I bet, up until this semester, I thought that was true, that a deer can get too old to where it doesn't produce anymore. But according to the professor and his research, he's handled, I think he said, over 200 deer. Does, if they're alive, they will try to breed, basically. So that is false. Number 4, deer remember where I am, which I'm basically trying to say, they remember where your stand is, they remember you're there. Not so much. You gotta remember, deer have a home range, and they're constantly covering that home range. Granted, I know what you're saying, but the deer walk past me all the time and they look directly at me. You know why they're looking directly at you? Because you probably moved. You moved and they saw you. If you think back to the encounter, what probably happened was the deer walked up, you got all fidgety, you kind of jumped a little bit, and the deer stared directly at you. You didn't think too much of it, so you went and grabbed your gun or your bow and put it on the deer, and by the time you did that, he turned around, flicked his tail up, and ran off. That's happened to me before several times over. You got to get into the habit of, when a deer is looking down and browsing, which is their way of feeding, that's when you move. When they have their head down and they're not paying attention to you, that's when you move. I know it's hard, sometimes that doesn't work too well, sometimes they're trotting through your area, but you got to do that. Makes it easier for you to have a little more leeway with movement, and they won't pick it up. And the 5th one is for all you city people out there, or people who just don't really understand hunting, or anti-hunters, or whatever, yet you hit deer with your car. Deer run in front of cars because they're stupid. They're not stupid. Deer are not dumb, guys. They're running in front of cars because they're just not used to them. And again, I know what you're saying, but cars have been around for a long time. To us, yeah. We've always been around them. Hell, there's one right behind me now. We're used to them. Deer are not. Think about this for a second. You ever go riding in the car? You ever want to go faster? What do? You press the accelerator harder, right? If a deer wants to go faster, he doesn't have an accelerator. He has legs. He runs faster. So, and also that kind of ties back into the whole deer whistle thing. Funny thing is, that same professor, Dr. D'Angelo, if you're wondering, maybe some of you guys heard of him. He studied them and determined in his study of deer whistles that if you have your bass blaring, if you have your bass blaring at night with your lights on, and your bass is going so hard that it vibrates the ground, that pretty much stimulates every sense to a deer, and they will literally run towards you. So next time you're on the highway, or next time you're getting behind somebody going home, and you got a little Honda Civic, or whatever it is, that's hitting the bass real hard, you could hear what he was playing before he even showed up, let him go in front of you. That way he hits there and you don't. But so that's gonna wrap it up, guys. I just wanted to give you 5 things or myths about deer to educate you guys on that. So thank you guys for watching. See you later.